What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles. You were listening to Lyles Movie Files. I've got the whole gang with me tonight. We are going to talk about blockbuster movies over the last 40 years and which ones deserve their high acclaim status, which ones have kind of faded from grace. Those that you think about and it's like, I don't know why I like that. Maybe I was just a dumb teenager, or maybe I got caught up in the hype, but it's not so good anymore. So we're going to break down our choices. So joining me today, as always, little brother Jace. How you doing?
I'm good. Doing another quality podcasting and knowing exactly where the mute button is always awesome.
You're quite the professional. Jay King, what's up with you?
Coolin', man. I'm glad to be doing this with y'all. Give the people what they want.
Gunner, what's up with you, man?
What's good, y'all? What's good?
It's popping. Chief, what's the good word?
Hey now.
See, Jace, that's how a professional steps up to the mic.
I just made the random noise like I was actually ruffling paper. I didn't actually ruffle paper. I mean, this isn't the end of the show when we start on a list. I mean, come on. I mean, this part you have to have cold and ready to go, right?
Gotcha. All right, well, speaking of cold and ready to go, let's talk about The Walking Dead real fast before we get into our main topic for tonight. Walking Dead's been on what seems like a decade-long break. It came back Sunday, and we had a lot of craziness wrapped up in 60 minutes. Carol discovered she was claustrophobic after 10 seasons. Jerry almost got munched because he was not doing DDP yoga. And maybe we lost 2 cast members because Carol is crazy. All kinds of good stuff. But by far the craziest, most cringe-worthy, awkward, memorable sex scene in maybe the history of Walking Dead and anything associated with TV was when Negan turned around and saw Alpha in the middle of the woods in her birthday suit. I'm sorry. She was in her birthday suit wearing her walker mask. Javon, what's your take on that, man?
Ew. That was all I could think was ew. I mean, look, it would have to take a zombie apocalypse. The options of female companionship are extremely limited for you to even turn around and say, well, you are female and you're naked. I wouldn't even, come on, dude. There's no way. There's no way. I'm pretty sure, look, I'm pretty sure made up and done up and with her hair, the actress that plays Alpha is a fairly moderately attractive woman. Okay, maybe. But as it stands, in character with the zombie mask on, I'm pretty sure you could have found, for the sake of the world of The Walking Dead, a walker who would have been more fit to have sex with. Where you would have said, yeah, I bet she was fine when she was normal. It's a big no for me. That was a big no.
Yo, my favorite part was when I was watching this, my DVR conked out right before Negan kissed Alpha. I had the shields up like I was watching a horror movie, like,
You have a truly smart TV.
dude, and it was just like, nope, you don't want any parts of this. Do we? You want no parts of this? And I did not think I did.
That's you. That box loves you.
It did. The other one, the upstairs one, did not because it kept it on file, and I saw it in the whole wide shot. It was like, wow, I should have listened to the one downstairs. But yeah, I like what we got with Carol here being a real liability for a change. She's not just kicking tail. She's having all kinds of issues, having some real trauma. The way somebody should act after watching their son's head impaled on a post on the hill. I like that. She's really dealing with some stuff here. And this is not going to be an easy fix that's forgotten over the course of 2 episodes. Well, Javon, you were the one that gave us this idea for this topic. So do you want to come up and explain the genius behind this idea you have for us?
All right. I mean, I can't take a whole hell of a lot of credit, y'all, because I was watching one of the This is part of my list, so I have to say I'll be vague. I was watching one of those '90s movies that centered around this newfangled technology called the World Wide Web, and I'm watching this movie, and it's not the acting. It's not the acting. It's not the scenery. You know, it takes place in the early '90s. None of these things are throwing you off. What's throwing you off is the technology is so dated, and the movie is centered solely around the technology. So much so that the actors are just there, and it's a pretty decent cast, but they're focused solely on the technology and what its capabilities are, and what this vast World Wide Web is going to be capable of doing, and how it's going to affect life as we know it. And you're looking at the computers, and you're thinking, God, I haven't seen one of these things since this time. Like, that you're looking at the laptop, and you're saying that thing has to weigh 47 pounds. It has to. So they just took you out of the movie because you say, God, this hasn't aged well. And it's only because of the technology. That's why I came up with it, because there are a lot of movies where you watch them because you love the movie, but you think, when we're trashing movies like we do, you're thinking, God, a cell phone negates the entire plot of this movie. So they don't age very well.
Home Alone.
That's why I came up with this. Exactly. So that's it.
All right, well, little brother, I'm going to give you a chance to redeem yourself. I'm going to let you go first. What do you got?
Okay. How many would you like us to give, like, entire list or just a
Why don't
couple?
you go with your 5 that have aged well, that you still enjoy to this day, and then your 5 that are like, oh gosh, why did I ever think this was good?
Okay. Well, I actually just watched one of these, I think it was Monday night, and my first one was Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. Because I think Javon, he mentioned this one like let's say a couple shows ago, and he's like, man, this movie does not age well, and I was like, that movie. I mean, yes, I was in a very different mindset when I was watching this movie, and like the stoner humor was like, it was funny, but you're like, maybe that won't age that well. And when I actually watched it again on completely normal, 40-year-old dude, and the jokes are funny. I mean, there's some stuff that's like when the girls are in the bathroom. I mean, yeah, that might not be your cup of tea anymore, but it was funny enough to like, okay, it keeps the plot going. So my first one is Harold and Kumar. I think that still holds up even after. I mean, it's still a funny like teen coming of age comedy kind of, even though they're not teens. The next one and I know some of y'all are gonna hate me for this, but I don't care. Mine is going with Attack of the Clones, because now after watching the new sequel trilogy, i.e., fan fiction of Star Wars, you can now finally see, oh wow, that cringy dialogue that I supposedly hated so much, which I still want to have every rap of you guys when you were 16 trying to talk to girls, Star Wars fans especially, trying to talk to girls at 16, how uncringeworthy that was. But I think after seeing that, most people now understand, hey, you know what? I would watch Attack of the Clones a whole lot more than any of this new sequel trilogy. I'm also going to go, my next one is Superman, because, and I mean the original Christopher Reeves one, because I don't have anything. I mean, there's a lot of bad DC movies that we get on all the time, and I think there's times where we're on this a whole lot on the show. But I think anybody, you could have a 12-year-old to a 60-year-old watch the original Superman, and you'll really get that the dude's actually trying to be good and doesn't have gray, and he's actually kind of cool. So that would be my next one.
But they're gonna make fun of him because he's fat. You know that, right?
Superman's not fat. He's just not. He's not like Henry Cavill. like looking like he can
exactly.
bench press. I mean, he doesn't look
Exactly.
like he can bench press like the actual world, but he does
Dude,
look like, hey, I can,
dude, I tried it. I tried it with mine. They were like, "Why is he so fat?" I'm like, "He's
what?
not fat. I'm like, he's not fat. He's just. It's not 2000 where like he trained for 8 months with one of the top trainers in Hollywood to get
You
to the
know,
body for this part.
the,
These kids are just so used to seeing these jacked up.
your superheroes look like superheroes.
Yeah, the superheroes look like everybody's jacked up.
Yeah, but
Everybody's jacked.
I
So
mean,
yeah.
but if you actually look at the old was it George Reeves? Like George Reeves, on the other hand,
George Reeves is like he just ate. Every time he put that food, he's like he just finished eating.
Wait, anybody got a beer? Wait, George, you're supposed to be putting it on the costume. Ah, no problem. It's like I'll look the part. Okay. And my last one, especially in the era of HD TV, is in great cinema. I think it can't go wrong with Lord of the Rings: Two Towers, because that fight at Helm's Deep on a great TV is effing awesome. So I think, especially with you got some new technology and Blu-ray. As much as I say there's, especially the extended edition, I think there's some parts you could cut out, but man, well, I could watch that whole thing just to watch it just for that Helm's Deep scene on a good HD TV. So that's my list of good.
Why don't you enlighten us with your list of bad now?
I'm sadly my first list on that one is 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh.
Because I had some bad news for everybody who thought we would actually be, civilized, intelligent people by 2001. We failed miserably. We can't even get off this planet. I mean, there's no talk. I mean, yes, our iPhone could, reserve us a restaurant across town, but we don't have a how. I mean, Skynet's not even here. We're all
I
screwed.
mean, there's only so many future movies we can put on our list, right?
Why?
Like, we can just put all future movies were just off and wrong at that point.
I mean, you can tell kind of why.
We're not even close to Blade Runner. I mean, Back to the Future 2 is done.
I mean, Blade Runner. I was like, yeah, we're pathetic. We're sorry. I mean, because I tried to watch Blade Runner because I've never actually seen it.
Oof.
And I was like, man, I feel so sad. Like, we're supposed to be like this in 1998. Man, pathetic.
Right.
Like, oh, it's horrible, horrible. Taking out of that, I'm also gonna go with Porky's on a whole different reason. Porky's, as much as all of us will enjoy, at one point enjoy Porky's.
Yeah.
Don't you do this about Porky's.
Javon,
Jason.
You know. Come on. Porky's is horrible.
Porky's is terrible. Oh, come on, man. Nothing to believe in no more.
I know, man. First, the Fat Boys broke up. Now this. I know. But, well, I mean, when you're spying on girls in their locker room, just, yeah, you just can't do that anymore.
It's just these shenanigans. Boys will be boys.
Mr. Harvey Weinstein proved that boys will not be boys anymore. Yeah. So, yeah, that's not gonna work anymore. And the next one is gonna be Shaft. I mean, I know, folks. I mean, our parents might have loved Shaft, but you can't get away with half the stuff. I mean, half the stuff he says in that movie, half the stuff he does in that movie. It's just not gonna fly. I mean, I actually appreciated how, yeah, you can't do that one. The next one I'm gonna go with is Avatar, because I don't think that movie actually stands up after the second viewing, let alone 10, 20 years later. That movie is like, oh my gosh, this movie almost won Best Picture. For once, we actually have to, appreciate the Oscars for not giving that Best Picture, because then we would just be talking about that movie like, who the hell thought this was the Best Picture? So I'm gonna go with that. And the last one, I think Jeff called it, was Home Alone because this movie just is not possible. It's like, hey Kevin, hey, we're tracking your iPhone. You're actually not here for some reason because we're horrible parents. We didn't actually. We looked at all the boarding passes on our iPhones, and we haven't used yours. Oh, let's check the Ring or the nanny cam. Oh, he's still there. All right, let's go. Let's call an Uber and get him over here in 20 minutes. That's my list.
Hey, Gunner, you want to go next?
Sure. I feel like my bad movies, like, I don't know. Like, some will hold up, but some, I don't know. We'll figure it out. My good movies, things that I can watch now that totally hold up, oddly enough, is, of course, Ghostbusters. It is so dated. There's not a cell phone in sight. And yet, I mean, the jokes are still hilarious. I watched the making of it on one of the on that Netflix show, and it makes it even more hilarious that they just kind of cobbled it together. It's like hilarious to me. The next one, Terminator 2, because this was one of those where it was the first one for me where I'm like, okay, this movie, the first movie was like, okay, whatever, super 80s, it's supposed to be a horror, who cares? Arnold Schwarzenegger can barely understand him. He still didn't talk much. um, and then T2 turned it completely around, soundtrack and all, and you're just like, dude, this whole franchise is so renewed. Boy, were we wrong. But T2 stands like as like one of those, whoa, this is like a diamond in the rough of a great franchise that could have been. Anyways, The Lion King, Broadway, whatever, that's cool. Beyonce's new, all that, whatever. The original cartoon still holds up because it just does. They keep trying to redo it. It's obviously that good. Uh, Empire Strikes Back, obviously. I mean, I could watch that 100 times, and it's still like, yeah, this is this is a great movie for the middle part of that trilogy. And like Jason said, after watching these last three, almost all the movies are great, except for anything with Jar Jar Binks. Rocky, the first one. When you watch that, you're like, wait a minute, this is actually kind of inspirational. Two was wonderful, three was great, and then kind of fell off and then came back, right? But the original one was really like a great, like, I got to figure out my crap. I'm going to do this. You know what I mean? I met this great mentor. I mean, just the storyline about it is very underrated when you really think about it compared to like all the other Rocky movies. When people think about the Rocky franchise, including Creed, um, the original one, the one that started it all, is actually pretty sweet even now. And I have another one, honorable mention, Avengers, the first one, because I rewatched it and I'm like, man, this is just a great movie. You even if you watch the other ones, it's just still pretty good.
Do you have any worse stuff?
Things that don't hold up are the ones that I never liked in the first place, right? Jurassic Park, the original one. I mean, concept was good, execution was just like what? All right. I mean, it wasn't me. There was nearly no like climax, and the climax was like in the beginning and the middle of the movie, and that was that. I can barely remember how it ended, honestly. Who survived until I guess I watched the second or third one, but I never cared that much to do so. Transformers is on this list because that was just horribly disappointing. And if you even try to watch it now, you just remember how disappointing the rest of the franchise was. You're just like, you had hope that it would do better, but it really didn't. And then you start seeing more flaws, and I'm like, yeah, this movie sucked. But I guess the truest thing on my list of the movies that didn't hold up, Three Men and a Baby. Like, and you know, like you look back at that and you're like, so what a great cast, and they have a baby, and then 3 Men, then they made a sequel too, of course, and it's
Yeah.
3 men and a baby and a girl. Like, okay, you know what I mean? Like dudes do that now. totally doesn't hold up in 2019 or 20.
Well, I think the other thing is at this point they just all of them just like, all right, man, who's got? Hey, we can just do the
you are not
paternity test. Yeah, exactly. Maury Povich got rid of this.
All go on Maury. Maury still comes on, right?
Done and done. Thanks.
Right. Right.
Should have wrapped it up.
Right. And we're done here. I threw Spider-Man 3 on here because there was no reason that movie should have been made. It didn't hold up then. It didn't hold up in the theater seat that I sat in. It didn't hold up. It doesn't hold up now. The movie was terrible. I guess I have
that joke in Spider-Verse.
The
you said what?
Scene.
It did give us that joke in Spider-Verse.
They sure did. Oh my God.
We don't talk about that.
It's just like, and then anything with like boobs at the beginning and throughout the movie probably should be on my list because you just can't do all of that now and just be gratuitous with it.
What happened to us?
We failed as humanity, Javon. You
figured out what happened with the world, Javon.
There was a time when a movie could just be centered around the fact that you're going to see titties. That's all this movie was about. Porkies,
or the quest
meatballs,
to see them.
Or the quest to see them. That's all it was about. Private Resort, Meatballs, all these movies. Those this goofy, what they call them? What's the genre? Late night cinema.
Dude, American Pie was still doing that.
That was the last of. We haven't had a series like that since American Pie.
Which one did?
American Pie.
Oh yeah, totally. And then I mean that
was
let's
it.
be clear, American Pie 1 does not hold up now. Damn.
It doesn't.
Why? Okay. Why doesn't it hold up, guys?
Compared to today, you couldn't make that movie right now.
Too guy centric. Fucking Superbad doesn't hold up now. Too guy centric.
At least in the movie right now, where some teenage boy sticks his dick in a pie in 2020.
Yes. I can see as long as he's doing it to a pie and not an object. I mean, a person, object. I think we're okay here.
I don't know, man. We are sensitive.
For
this to be like
the Pie Coalition may have stuff to say about that, but otherwise,
the Pie Defamation Leagues.
Yes, as a representative of the boysenberry pies, we feel slighted by the inclusion of apple pie. I can see there being a problem, Javon. You're right. No more American Pie. Pumpkin pie would be like who decided apple pie was the American pie of choice. Yeah, there's a lot of issues.
I know exactly how that blog would be, just for that very scene. And then aside from other scenes, but that very scene is like, Dad should have talked to him about not raping and why is he so horny that he's sticking his dick into a pie. And you would read that exact sentence somewhere.
His dad was telling him how to jerk off, so I mean,
exactly.
I think we're kind of safe on that.
2020.
They would say this movie promotes predatory masturbation.
Yep. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm getting at.
Exactly.
Clearly, you're going to have to go to the dark web to see American Pie 5, guys.
Predatory masturbation. That's some God. Yeah, actually, it would be. Yeah.
Hey, Chief,
that's the guys on the
talk
street.
some sense into these guys here. What's on your list, man?
All right, well, let's start one movie that didn't hold up. And I saw it, and when I first saw it in the movie theater, as a kid, I liked it. And sometimes I think back and I wonder how many of these films, like my father had to sit through them, just like shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like so. Anyways, right? Because I'm watching Goonies the other day.
Oh,
I'm just like, it was just. I remember in the movie theater liking it, and then now as an adult, I was bored. I was like,
Goonies never died.
Yeah, Chief, what are you talking about?
I don't know why. Like I said, I don't know. It wasn't when I was a kid. The Goonies was that. At this age, it wasn't exciting. It was just like, oh, okay. And maybe it's because I've seen so much now. Another movie that didn't hold up in the 80s probably doesn't hold up now. War Games. You remember how that computer looked? The computer was like 80 feet high, 100 feet wide.
DOS.
Would you like to play a game? And then they So, you know, shit, your phone was more powerful than that computer. And you're thinking, damn, at one point, these computers
This was
were
technology. This
running
was the
things for
pinnacle
people.
of technology.
High-end tech.
They had the reel-to-reel tapes on the computer.
Those are straight mainframes, yo.
Oh, shit.
Oh my God, your phone will kick that thing in the ass.
Right. What a floppy disk is now, or Independence Day. It's not gonna hold up now, and that's not. I don't even want to talk about the Independence Day 2. Let's just stick to the original one. It was good I remember watching it like, yo, that was a good movie, and then you watch it now, and it's just certain things about the movie like that just don't hold up for me. It just seems like they were kind of just chilling over they were chilling over major cities, and I remember they kind of sent a helicopter out, and the helicopter was flashing different signs and everything, and they were like, look, the door's opening. They shot it down, and I was thinking to myself, if that happened, like aliens came and sent it over major cities, would they send out one copter? Would that, like, I figured there would be thousands of forces around those damn whatchamacallit. They would have been trying to figure out how to get into them, and you don't wait till the middle of the movie before you tell the president they've been here before. I was just, in 1996, you're like, and I guess again, as now a 40-year-old man, I look at movies and I'm like, no, that's never happened.
Now, Chief, do you really think?
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Do you think? See, I mean, especially going back to the early '90s, we still might have remembered J. Edgar Hoover, who kind of was the FBI, who kept secrets from everybody. So, as FBI director, well, I mean, hey, that's a great leverage point. Hey, man, if you talk stuff, man, we can call the aliens, just get rid of you. You don't know about these aliens, but they'll take you out. So, I was actually going to say it still holds up. I actually put that on my list because
I think
the CG is kind of
like that. As soon as something like that gets over the planet, people will, somebody's got to speak up at that point. And then just the.
Let's say, do you think there'd be half the hippies, quote unquote, would say, "Hey, man, they're coming to take us home, man. Yeah, they're going to give us all this great technology." And then you got the other half that's shooting their hunting rifles at it. So
let me ask you this.
What you got?
So you think in the neighborhood you live in, you think half your neighborhood would stay?
Oh man,
is that what you know me?
I mean, you pack up the essentials, then you get on 495 and you're stuck in traffic. Man, we're getting smoked out in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, well, I don't think, but I'm thinking they're trying to get out.
But everybody was trying to get out. It was like they had like half the people in the major cities were trying to get out, and half of them were, hoping they were going to get beamed home. So I think that's probably still accurate.
I don't know.
Okay.
And the CGI, I don't know.
The CGI is kind of
Usual Suspects holds up. Great movie. Casino. Okay, I've taken up too much time. I'm sorry. I'm signing off.
All right, Javon, I'm going to let you go last on this one, so I'm going to go with mine real quick. For my best list, I did Empire Strikes Back because, yeah, like Jay said, it's, I'll just throw that in Revenge of the Sith because watching these sequel trilogies makes me appreciate the great Star Wars films even more. I put Saving Private Ryan on my list because it's a great war film, but it's more than just, hey, here's people getting shot. There's like a purpose to it. You care about the characters. And it's just done on that scale where it's like, okay, if you're going to do a war movie, it must be as good as this opening act in Saving Private Ryan. Next up, far different, Armageddon. I think this is one of those better star ensemble casts when everybody wasn't a big star. And it's like, oh man, he's in it. He's in this too. Great. And it's kind of goofy and wacky with the premise, but just seeing all that star power in there, kind of playing roles that we would kind of associate with them in future roles is kind of neat. and it's got that song. Don't want to close my eyes. It's great. So that also put last one because I've just said enough. Hunger Games. That was the one that really kind of reinvigorated this whole genre of female action heroes. It wasn't the first one, but it was the one that made Hollywood go, "Hey, wait a second. If we put an action movie with a female lead, people will still go see it if it's done well." Yes. So that definitely still holds up. And it's one of those gateway films that once you start, it's kind of like, well, I got some time. I can watch the rest of the saga right now. On my worst list, Sixth Sense. That film just doesn't hold up once you know the trick, the twist. I mean, it's just like, okay. And that was the case back when it came out, but it really doesn't hold up now because it's not one of those things that you can just kind of forget. There's some movies over time you kind of forget every little direction or every scene and how things play out. That's the major part in that one, and once you know it, you just can't unforget it. Crocodile Dundee is another one that's on my list. It was a fun '80s movie, but man, it was on TBS a couple of weeks ago, and I could not watch more than 10 minutes of it. So yeah, that's one. Uh, Continuing that Sixth Sense vein, Ghost was another one. It's just blah. I also have Spider-Man, but I put the first Spider-Man by Sam Raimi because I just can't get with a Spider-Man who doesn't talk when he's wearing a mask. Mrs. Doubtfire was another one that I just don't like anymore. I mean, the concept is just so goofy that he's dressed it up like a woman. Oh, it's so funny. And and I can't believe that James Bond did not figure out that Robin Williams was dressed up as his nanny. That's just me. And last but not least, American Sniper, because oh my gosh, that is just like the worst warmongering rah rah America movie that Clint Eastwood could put together. And I can't stand it. So, Javon, those are mine. What are yours?
Oh man, I'm gonna start with my H. Wells. I try not to put, there are a lot of movies that are just timeless to me. It's saying they age well is like saying, Coca-Cola is one of the premier soft drinks on the market today. Still, these movies are gonna age well. They're timeless. So I was trying to like go for those that were really like of their era. Like these movies couldn't have been made any other era but these eras, right?
Okay.
So I'm gonna start with the Matrix because albeit it's in that '90s vein of our tech obsessed movies or our tech focused movies, it doesn't overdo anything. It's stylish. It's it's current. It gives you a window into that like pre 2000s post extreme '90s world. You know what I mean? We were going into. You really felt like you were going into a new era with that movie, not just with the look, but with the action sequences, the bullet time, dude. I remember like
Super
going
Bowl
to the
commercial.
theater. Yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, just going to the theater to see that and being stoned out of my mind, like, dude, I don't care if the world ended all around me. I'm seeing the future of movies. This is amazing. Yeah, I mean, I was a kid, but still, it was an amazing. It was just it captured something right there. And
You're
that's
a
what that
Stone
movie did.
Kid.
It was a stone kid, but still watching that and saying, yeah, this is a movie going experience. I'm seeing something I haven't seen before. So that held up really well to me. We said Terminator 2, but one that's held up really well for me is Escape from New York with Kurt Russell, because it's just it's a perfect amount of everything: action, cheesy, comedy. It's a perfect amount of everything. It does not take itself too seriously, and it's not heavily relied upon anything other than just being a goofy action movie. 48 Hours because the jokes still work really well. Um, you have some scenes or some things said in that movie that you probably couldn't get away with today. But overall, this story, and I wonder why no one's tried to reboot or remake 48 Hours, man. You could do this right now today and it works. It
Javon,
works. Yeah.
do you know how much
Oh,
uprising there would be if they tried to remake 48 Hours now?
Well, Jace,
they
they
tried the
tried
formula 50 times before, though.
every
That's
year.
for
They tried
sure.
the formula before. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
you
they,
do the
Remember
formula,
Metro?
but you do not say
oh my
that it is
God,
48 hours. Like, no, no, no.
the one with Adam Sandler and Damon Wayans. Yeah, I mean they tried it before,
Oh
but
gosh, I think I blocked
yeah,
that one out.
yeah, I did too until I just remembered it.
Oof.
They've tried it
I was
before, but
just
that
thinking
was
about Metro. Oof, that was
oh
bad
God,
enough.
oh come on, Gunner, I'm saying. God,
Ravenport.
oh Rappaports. I was so glad when Hollywood stopped trying to make him a star. I was glad when they gave that up. Um, I don't know if y'all remember Running Scared with Billy Crystal and what's my man
Barely.
Gregory Hines.
Yeah.
It was Lethal Weapon before Lethal Weapon, and I thought it worked
Yeah.
so much better than Lethal Weapon. To me, it's held up. It's cheesy in '80s, and but it's the jokes. They feed off of each other so well, and the action it holds up surprisingly well. If you haven't seen it, man, check it out. The Gremlins. I watched the Gremlins. This has been coming on cable
Mhm.
recently, and even that, if the Gremlins is another one of those '80s movies. You can call it campy, you can call it dated, what have you. And if you were to film this today, scene for scene, you wouldn't. It's not heavily relied upon anything other than these little buggers here turn into the devil. If you feed them at them
Right.
and I get them wet. So it works. It just works. It's not too cheesy. It's just the right amount of campy horror. It's good. It's still a good watch.
It would work like it
Hellraiser.
did. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it would make it a little. Would you make it a little darker? Let me ask that, Gunner.
The original Gremlins was dark enough especially
Yeah,
compared to that second one. That second one I liked it because it was just stupid, and I
it
was
was
a
just
kid.
goofy. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
goofy.
but that
Yeah,
first one was dark. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, definitely
yeah,
considerably darker than what they did. So that
yeah.
Christmas tree scene, man, come on, man.
Dude, that was still scary.
That
Still
was the part I
scary.
watched. You talk about it came on cable recently. I was like, that's when I
Yep.
watched it. It was like last Saturday, Saturday before last. I was like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
gonna sit there and watch this. And then
Oh my
Bernie came downstairs. I was
yikes.
like, oh, let me turn this joint. This kid's gonna
Turn
have
it off.
nightmares for
Yep.
life.
Never go near another Christmas tree again.
Ever.
Right. Let me go. Hellraiser.
Yeah.
They made a whole Hellraiser series, but the first one was by far the scariest. It was more psychological thriller. It was I can't. It was more psychological horror because the character of Hellraiser, instead of just being gory and gaudy with the gore, he was digging into your brain. He was digging into your mind, and then the gore came. So that's held up really well to me. Long Kiss Goodnight with Big Gina
Mm.
Davis, man. I miss Gina Davis. I don't know where the hell she disappeared to, but I miss seeing her in movies, especially this one because this movie was dope.
That was a
Nightmare
movie
on Elm
that was definitely one of those movies that, like, it was overlooked. It's like, yo, this movie is
Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
yeah. It was just that was what 95 and 96, and there were
Something like
all
that.
these action. I mean, that's no different than any other time, I guess. There are all these action movies, but these action movies are male dominated venture, man. And to
Yeah.
be a female with an action movie, unless you are the biggest female name in Hollywood, chances are you're gonna get overlooked. I just wonder who in 1995, 96 could they have casted where this would have been on par with, like, I don't know what was big that year. Die Hard with a Vengeance. I wonder who else they could have cast that would have made this really work and been like one of those movies that no one forgot about because it was just as big as everything else. Maybe
I think,
Sandra Bullock, who knows?
honestly, I think it was one of those situations where it's like they couldn't have cast anybody because it was
Mm,
just super, like I said, it was super male dominated. That it was
yeah,
just bound to get overlooked.
yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah. Nightmare on Elm Street because it's dated as shit, but it still holds up. It's still dated, but it holds up, man. There are 3 or 4 scenes in that movie. Freddy's claw coming up out the bathtub when Shorty's taking a bath. The Johnny Depp bloodbath scene out of the bed. Oh my God. When Freddy's print comes through the wall, like they elasticize the wall, so he's coming through it. Come on, man. Those are the things that made Nightmares the next 30 years. Like they're still trying to come up with another type of horror franchise like Nightmare. it's so hard to repeat that. First Blood, because First Blood is the grandfather. I probably said this before on a couple of podcasts. First Blood to me is the grandfather of the modern one man gang action movie, right? Not Death Wish or Dirty Harry. No, we're talking about one man with a gun. John Rambo went into the woods and killed damn near a police department. And if you would have let him, he'd have killed every National Guardsman that they had in the state of Washington. Johnny Rambo was it, man. And the end of that movie, you got to see. People always give Stallone a hard time, but he can act. Hey, Johnny Rambo breaking down, telling the story about his homeboy's legs
Right.
blowing off. Dude, you feel it. You feel it. I still love that movie. It still gives me chills, man. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. If you've never seen it, you owe it to yourself. It's one of those stoner movies that you don't got to be stoned to watch. You can watch that straight up and still laugh your head off. Um, Let me see. That's the aged poorly. I'm gonna say I have these four movies, but I'm gonna just it's a blanket reason why they're all bad. Sneakers, Hackers, The Net, The Lawnmower Man. Well, they age poorly because these are those movies that I mentioned are heavily
Lawnmower
reliant.
Man, boy.
The Lawnmower Man, dude. Oh my God. These movies were heavily reliant upon the emphasis was the technology, right? And seeing how our technology, of course, it's going to evolve, but it's just it's so cheesy and so bad. Even then, I remember watching. I think it was Hackers, and thinking to myself, this is not what computer hackers look like. This is not what a computer hacker looks like. Hot teenagers, riding skateboards while they download. No, come on, stop it. No, that's not it. The net with Sandra Bullock, man, that it was onto something. Yes, the internet is going to eventually be tracking everyone's data profiles, and all of our information is going to be online at some point. But it was just so cheesy. It was just so cheesy when you go back and look at it. They just don't hold up well, man. Seriously. Um, Bear with me because my screen, because of Idol, went dark. Here we go. Um, I put Avengers and Baby sitting on this list because this is one of those movies, just like Overboard, which is on this list. A cell phone solves all this. If you had a cell phone back then, this movie is like 2 minutes long. There's no reason to watch this movie. I put Face Off on here because I hate Face Off, and I'm amazed they ever made this movie. Because seriously, even during look, when you watch these the
It's
two
gonna
characters,
take my face and use my face.
okay, destroy.
John, you're gonna be the first one in line when they do the remake of this year.
No, I'm gonna write.
They
the
are
musical.
doing a remake of this somehow. I don't understand why.
We're writing the musical. I can eat a peach for hours. Somebody's got to sing it. Come on, man. We have to do this. We have to do this. Man, that movie not only was John Travolta giving up at least 3 inches of height
right
to Nick Cage, he was also at least 30 pounds heavier than Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. Oh, we can get rid of that with a little face, little cosmetic surgery. What? But I like you guys trying to admit that there's some difference, but we are still awake.
Look, if they would have said, okay, well, not Travolta, how about Keanu Reeves? All right, that's plausible. I could buy that. I could buy it.
Yeah.
Not
Still,
Travolta.
no.
Yeah, even still, no. Yeah, but a little
maybe
more
the other
plausible
guy
than
from
Travolta.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. The other guy from Bill and Ted. That'll work. That honestly would work because he ain't doing shit either. So.
Oh my God. Yeah. Just it doesn't work. Menace to Society is on this list because that was one of those movies that, yeah, for me it wasn't. A lot of young guys didn't idolize Old Dog or whatever. I thought they were all idiots, but when you go back and watch this movie now through adult eyes, you're like everybody in this movie was a goddamn moron. Just end it. End it. End it all. Why are you showing everybody the tape of you murdering two store owners? It's two people. Like, why are you doing this? One scene in particular that really pisses me off, the over the top like hood movie, like the glorification of all things ignorance, was when they went to the party and right before Kane's cousin got shot and killed for his car. When they coming out of the house party and he's drinking a 40, and instead of being a responsible human being, or even a human being, he just drops the 40 right in the yard.
Right.
It's like, come on, man. You know this family. You know these people.
I'm like, why did you just overly gratuitous? Look at these niggers. Look at
these niggas. Yeah. Like, come on, man. Speaking of niggas, the toy, because Master Bates got his team of flunkies to take him to his father's department store to buy a nigger.
Oh, my God. That segue was the perfect segue that Jeff is probably going to have to cut out.
Yeah, Jeff is cutting that out. There's no way that's making final draft.
Oh, my God. And it's so true. So this dude just bought a black dude, and we put this on TV.
Put this in a movie.
TV. Yeah.
Hey, little boy, I want the black one. No, literally the black one. Him, the black guy, to be my friend, daddy. And that's what Richard became, his like daddy friend. Because
that Reagan era stuff, man.
Yeah, dude. You could not have made that movie any other time, dude. Oh my God. Oh my God. So like, Richard now is teaching this kid the A's, the birds of the bees, the facts of life, becoming his best friend and almost dad figure to this little white kid. So ridiculous, man. You can't watch that through any other eyes, dude. And last and certainly least is Rocky IV. Because Rocky IV was just a montage. It was just you had a few scenes of dialogue and the rest was montage. And what strikes me...
I'm sorry. Are you talking poorly of Rocky IV? Rocky goes to Russia?
Yes. Mr. Balboa goes to Russia. Yes.
I thought you meant Rocky V. Like, because that was a montage. Dude, that was all flashback scenes, boy. Rocky V was every flashback scene you could freaking think of. The measure of a man. That's 5 need to be on your list, boy. 4 was like, 4 holds up except for the whole Cold War thing.
Well, God, I look at
human.
You can change.
You can change.
Sorry. After that war he had with Ivan Drago, I mean, come on. Everybody felt that. He changed the country around by just standing up for that punishment. Come on, man. That's the true American spirit. You're a communist.
Hey, look at nobody. You know what goes widely ignored? You know what goes widely ignored about Rocky IV? Is that Rocky and Paulie and Apollo's old trainer, and then Adrian, they go to Russia, and Adrian winds up over there. It's like he says, "Hey kid, be good. Stay with the robot. Me and your mother gonna go to Russia for the next 3 months." Like, who stayed with the kid? Who was there? Nobody. The robot.
I'm thinking a bunch of rich people do that all the time.
Yeah, when they came back, they were broke.
They came back, they were broke.
Paulie was...
The kid was 5 years old and they were broke.
Wait, where was Paulie?
No, Paulie was with him.
Oh,
no, Paulie was with him in Russia. Paulie went too. And not for nothing. How do you let Paulie be in charge of your finances? Paulie.
Of all people.
Oh yeah, that's my list. Goodness gracious, Rocky 4 and 5.
Yeah, I was like,
All
no,
right.
5 was there too.
Well, fellas, that was an extensive list. Thank y'all for bringing it hard with these choices. And I think that's going to do it for us on this one. So, thank y'all as always. Thank y'all out there for listening. This episode of Lyle's Movie Files has been filed.